What is going on, everybody? I'm BobbyFi, getting on the air a little bit early here. Just wanted to say what's up, and we are going to be talking through our normal BetQL show. I'm a little bit under the weather, so bear with me, and I'm off to a wedding on top of it, so I've got my little tea over here. But we are going to grind through because this is a fantastic NBA slate. I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to make some general sports bets as well as some DFS bets. We'll talk about both on the show. I want you guys to come in and say what's up, say hello in the chat, and most importantly, ask us some questions. Tell us what you want to hear. Tell us what you want to see. Tell us what information you want to know and who we like and what games. BetQL, the more I familiarize myself with it, it's an incredible app, but I really am just scratching the surface with even how to use it. But just to give you a basic understanding, we're going to go through one of our free games of the day. One of the issues that we've had is trying to get the shows basically so that we can talk about the BetQL, but without giving away all of the information. And it's kind of tricky because there's so much information they give away for free in these things. And you can just see, we're going to take this game as an example. It's only got a 1 star in terms of what we think, where we have the game value, I guess, is what, as how you should understand it. Excuse me. Anyway, we've got like an obvious. What I'm going to say is that I'm a lot stronger on this take than we are at BetQL. I actually like the same things BetQL does. I think the Mavericks are going to win this game by more than 4.5 that they're intended. And I think that they're going to win this game actually pretty, not easily, but I feel like I like them a lot, and I like them better as a money line bet than I do as it's just weird with the extra points at the end of the game. You can have weird things happen in basketball, so you're giving away a little bit there, but I don't mind them with the spread either way. I want to show you a couple other things real quick, and just in order to do that, let me get to this other screen over here because I wanted to show you another thing that I really like about BetQL. We've got, let's see, we're going to sort by a few things, and we're going to see where the money is going. We want to see where the public ticket percentage is. We want to see what public money's on. So we can do that. Boom, we just go down here, add settings. This is for free, by the way. This is not even with the stuff. You can see right there, 72% of the public bets on the Mavs -4, 95% of the money. So when you see that difference, you know that means the Sharps are on the Mavericks -4 here. I think that makes it seem like a very, very, very solid bet. Really good information you get, and this you're getting for free. This is we could have this for every game. We're giving it to you for one game, and it's not even our strongest take of the day over here at BetQL. So anyway, don't forget to sign up, by the way, if you're not a member of BetQL. Use the promo code BobbyFi, and you can get 30% off your first month. I'm telling you, this stuff pays for itself. We've been off to a great start already. We didn't get everything right yesterday, but we certainly did some good things. We had some of the right ideas, and the games after the All-Star break are a little bit more high variance, so it can kind of be good for DFS and a little dangerous for just general sports betting. So I wouldn't advise go crazy with anything, but I do really like the Mavs -4 is one of the spots I really like tonight. Just scrolling through some of the other games without going to the access, just looking at the spreads. Is there anyone that stands out to you maybe that you think is your favorite? Because there's some that I think are interesting. Like this Timberwolves Celtics I would probably stay away from, but I could easily see taking the Timberwolves as a 7.5 point dog at home. Talking myself into that at some point, maybe because I love it so much for DFS. Who knows? I also like the Thunder. The Nuggets on the road at the Thunder. The Thunder have been more impressive to me on the road than they have been at home, even though they've been really good overall. I would go with that bet. That's one of the ones I like today. This is just my take. This is not BetQL's. This is BetQL. What we could be getting the premium access and tell you what all the really sharp bettors are telling you, which obviously I'm going to do and hone in before I actually make my final bets. But that's one I'm leaning towards. The Suns Raptors I would stay away from personally. I could see it going either way. The Knicks Pacers, again, it's a lot of points at home. Pacer, we'll see. I could see going either way. I feel like there's a lot of interesting games, but there's not a lot that I want to just make the straight bets on a certain team. I do think that one I do want to make that bet on that's my hardest core take, and I'll look at what BetQL says about it a little bit later in the show, but I really like the Lakers -11 with the Grizzlies coming into town. I think the Lakers are going to destroy the Grizzlies, who are on back-to-back. The Lakers have had the break, the All-Star break. They might, even if they're rusty at the beginning, like they're going to end up just smoking this team, I think, in this spot. it feels like an easy Lakers win for me. I'll give the 11 points up and take the Lakers. I know it feels like a lot, and I don't like that in the modern NBA with the way threes are shot. The double-digit spreads are dangerous, but that's one I can get behind a little bit. Anyway, we're gonna move things forward. I'm gonna take a quick look and see if anybody's in chat. Guys, come on in and say hi to us. Like, come on, we've gotta get the word out. We need to get some back and forth. It's hard to do these shows alone, so give us the like, the thumbs up. We really appreciate it. We'll talk a little DFS in just a minute, but I wanted to get into some general sports betting topics to start. I will quickly just drag something. I want to show just an idea of sort of where I'm at with my early lineups on DraftKings, just because I think that some of these sports betting takes, like, I like the Mavericks in what I think is going to be a fairly competitive game to win, but I really like Luka, and you can see it. I'm hoping you can see some of my screen. I don't want to share everything over here. I want to focus on BetQL, but I wanted to show you guys a little bit of what I'm doing, and it'll give you an idea of when we talk about some of these sports bets that we like, who we like, and why. And you can see that I'm very high on Luke. He should be treated. He's an 8K player. So really like those guys. And then just real quickly before I go back to the BetQL stuff, I know you guys like this stuff, so I do show it because it's the most things I get DMs about is like, please keep showing your lineups. Tell us what you're doing. You can see going for the weird pivots along with Luka at my point guard spot is a way that I'm trying to get a little different. I also like Beal quite a bit, and I like Oladipo a lot. I actually have an Oladipo and Barrett lineup that I'm pretty fond of. Not that one. That's my cheaper one, but the bigger one over here with Simons, who I think people will play less on FanDuel, along with Hayward because of the price. Sort of get a little creative. And then the under-owned Sabonis-Randall combination could be really, really deadly with the chalky Whiteside here. So I definitely have too much Whiteside. I just wanted to, but I do like him a lot. He's just going to be really, really high owned in a game that he got paced out of last time. Probably won't happen with Lillard on there, but I just wanted to share that with you guys because I want to keep this show about BetQL and RotoQL, but I also want to share some of my thoughts, and I want to transfer even just along with that. I'm looking at my RotoQL, some of the differences between them and basically the general projections, the consensus you'll find in other places in the industry. And there is some really strong ones. What I always keep trying to encourage people about RotoQL that's always been true is there's a more of an aggressive line. It's like more of a tournament approach when it tries to factor in point per dollar. One thing that really stood out to me is Royce O'Neal, a guy that I've made a lot of money off of who's been unowned every time at this price in the same situation or even with less guys on the court. And yet for some reason is blowing up tonight. I'm interested in him. I'm curious to see where the ownership will end up on him because it's a spot where I don't feel good enough to say that I want to just marry myself to it or anything like that. But I did want to point it out that he's definitely projecting much better on RotoQL than he is across other sites. So is Naz Reid, who's a guy that's interesting because you could see on my FanDuel lineups I had a lot of Naz Reid. I like Naz Reid quite a bit tonight as a speculative play, and I think that there's a chance he crushes. So I really think that's a good bit of info. Get your QQs in, get the likes up. Guys, we got to get this back and forth going, and I'm going to get back to some other things that I want to talk about with regard to BetQL and some of the things. I mean, this is, like I showed you that just the little add remove stats thing. There's a million other bets we could look at here. We just need to basically sign up, and when we don't have that. The basic stuff you can find most places. All the extra information, you're getting the best takes, the best projection system out there. There's nothing better than the BetQL for that. So let's, get signed up already. Use the code BobbyFi, and let's get back to talking some sports. So I'm going to jump back to the chat. Look, nobody's commenting. Please start saying something in chat because either I'm not seeing it or something. Ask me a question. Who do you like tonight? Who's your favorite play of the night? What is your favorite bet of the night? Give me something. Give me something to work with here, guys. I need to go back and forth with somebody. Anyway, I'm going to keep talking about some other things that we like over here before. Look, I'm not gonna make fun of your bets. I promise. Just make sure to get them in. Public and sharp bettors are on the Celtics -7 in Minnesota. 68% of the public bets have attracted 90% of the total money wagered. The Celtics -7 in Minnesota is certainly one I can understand. It's a game that I'm staying away from. But I do like that. One of the great things about BetQL are these trends that we get. And we can look, you can find it in here with some of this stuff. And again, I'm not as experienced as some of the other folk are with using it because I'm fairly new to this. And I've just started recently getting more and more into sports betting as I've been more and more successful. Mostly doing long-term bets, but these day-to-day bets in the NBA, I think there's a lot of value in it, and I really, really trust these recent trends we see. And look, you see, this is a funny one. Like Steve Clifford, we're not giving it the most, valuable trend, but Steve Clifford 23-11 after a combined score of 225 or more while coaching in Orlando. Okay, random, but there is some really good ones too, and that's actually kind of interesting. I factor about that into about 0.01%, but there are some that are like literally can change the whole way you think. A great example the other night of pointing out the trends of what OKC had been doing on the road, even though all the money was going against them, and we should have just followed what it said because, of course, they were right, and OKC did in fact again win on the road. So you got to watch these trends. You got to look out for these things on BetQL, and the more and more we dive into it every day, the better I'm getting at it. The more money I've made. So I mean, look, it's been 10 days, 2 weeks, and we've had an All-Star break, or 2 weeks and an All-Star break. And I've already had a pretty solid 6 months, and it's in part to this BetQL and RotoQL. Again, I want to encourage people to download the RotoQL app for free too. It's just a really, really cool app, and it's very, very easy to use, and I think you'll be interested. Anyway, that's just where I'm at. So anyway, I'm hoping by now when I look back in, we're going to see some questions. I don't see any questions. I'm going to ask for more likes. Give us the thumbs up. Please, guys. I'm not sure exactly what happened this time. And let me know if there's any problems or anything. If there's a reason why we're not doing it for you today, because usually you all jump in. I think it has to do with the fact that we started it an hour and a half early. I saw people kept coming in and out. So we're not having as many people driving to the show. So we're going to stay on, and we're going to keep talking stuff. But you got to tell me what you're looking at betting-wise for tonight. I'm giving you away the free information on BetQL. I want to give away some other facts that are some pretty interesting trends, and not just trends, but just some good overall bets. At first, though, I need to catch my breath because I've been talking really fast, and I've had a cough and been sick in bed. So there we go. Nuggets money line getting a lot of the Nuggets money line plus 100 getting a lot of public /sharp love against the Thunder in OKC. That's where I'm at too. So I told you I was going to look into what BetQL says. They were allowing me to give that information for free. 69% of public bets and 88% of total money wagered on the Nuggets money line plus 100. Let's get that. I love that. I love the Nuggets tonight in OKC. I love them to win. Let's do it. Let's take it. Public and sharp bettors are on the over in the Pelicans-Blazers game at 239. That's 97% of the money wagered has been gone on the over in this game. That seems crazy to me. I'm going to point it out. That's great information, and I should probably reconsider my stance a little bit on this. I think this game plays a little. I think the Pelicans play faster the second half of the year than they did the first half, obviously. I don't think the Blazers are going to be able to play as fast without Damian Lillard. With Hassan Whiteside and probably more part of the offense. I don't think I would bet the under, but I don't know if I would lean the over. Obviously, this is a great game for DFS purposes. So make sure you get your DFS thoughts in there. We do have some more of you coming in. That's great. Get into chat. Ask me some questions. For some reason, I'm not seeing any questions from any of you guys in chat. And is there something I'm missing? Is there something that you guys are in a secret chat that I'm not a part of? Let me know, because I would love to talk to my peeps out there. Eric, if you're in the house, say what's up. I know that some of you are out there watching because I've talked to you and you texted me nice show and glad you're back on air and all this stuff. Get on in the chat. Anyway, we are going to keep talking about some straight betting stuff, but we do have to talk to you a little bit about some DFS stuff as well, because that obviously is my specialty. So I went last night, and basically it was stuff that I covered on some of the show. I'm just going to show a little bit about what it was, because I think it's important to tell you about the good and the bad and the ugly. But I finished 8th last night in the Monster. It was 100,000 for first. It was looking like I was going to win it. The game went into overtime. I had players in the game, but none of my guys went off. The other guys all went off. Basically, I had LeVert was my big pivot, I guess, in that lineup. It would have been nice. I kind of wanted to show it to you guys. I should have had it probably queued up before, but it was $100. It wasn't just a 100K swing. It went from being like making over 100K likely to the way that the games ended and the garbage points for Jordan Poole at the end. ended up taking me down, and I ended up having a pretty bad losing night from what would have been a really, really good night. Just kind of disappointed. And I liked my process. I liked the things we talked about. I loved Bam in that matchup, and people didn't play Bam on FanDuel because the price difference. Don't worry about prices when you're playing GPPs, guys. Don't worry too much about the exact X you need. It's just a basic way of thinking that is honestly, it's dated a little bit, to be honest with you. Anyway, guys, get in chat. Please say what's up, and let us know that you're out there, because I am not seeing anything from you over here, and I'm not entirely sure why. So I would love to hear that. In the meantime, I'm going to call up some of my other favorite plays of the day. And look, if you're listening, you're getting great advice from a guy who's been making a lot of money doing this. And I can say that and sound braggy because I'm only talking to 10 people right now, and this is unusual. But anyway, guys, if you are here, please just say what's up in chat. Say hello. That's it. That's all I want. If you have a question, throw it in there. We've got some good answers for you. I like the back and forth. It's how I thrive. It makes doing solo podcast, radio, etc., all I've done TV, anything, is much, much easier without all this solo stuff. So please, get your voices out there. Be heard. Speak to me. In case there's something I'm missing, I just don't see you guys out there saying anything. So I would appreciate a little back and forth. And it's a big slate. It's a huge NBA night. Like, why don't we talk about what the hell is happening? I'm tuning into this on another thing just to make sure I get this in right. Wait a minute. I am seeing it. You know what it is? It has been broken on my end. Well, damn it. Now, guys, I got some questions. Sorry about that. I can enter, but for some reason, it's not been allowing me to see your chat. Something we'll fix on the technical side. Again, still just getting the show under in order. 3 Portland guys in your lineup, 2 chalky. You can do it. Depends on the rest of your lineup. I would probably try to differentiate elsewhere if you're going to do that. Bobby, is BetQL and RotoQL separate memberships? They actually are separate memberships, and they're different. BetQL would be for the straight sports betting. RotoQL would be for your DFS use and other things, but mostly that's what it would break down to. I asked some of your favorite bets. I think Jordan Clarkson is super sneaky, but I don't like him enough to play him. That's the truth. It's too big a slate, too many good plays. Not where I want to go with my stuff. Again, I really appreciate that you guys were in here chatting. Sorry I didn't see the questions coming in before. Much, much happier to see that they are now, and now I can catch up with you guys. Which team is priced well on DK? You know who's priced oddly well on DK is that Utah San Antonio game, which the pricing makes you want it the same way that it makes you want that Knicks Pacers game on FanDuel, because the guys are just so darn cheap, and I think you get it. Do I think Luka hits his ceiling tonight? I think he comes close enough to where he's one of my favorite plays on the slate. Luka everywhere for me. On FanDuel, Luka is in all of my lineups right now. Not necessarily. Carmen, always good to see you. Bronco, always good to see you. Thanks for saying what's up. I know I'm just catching up on the old stuff. JT, you as well. Portland already played the Pels that Dame earlier this year, and CJ busted. Do you take matchups? I actually do, but I think that I don't think CJ is a must, especially on FanDuel. But I still like him on. I'm not going to lie and say I don't like him on DraftKings, especially at home. It's a little bit different. Let's see. Dan says his lineup basically built itself into good value and chalk with Luka. Is that enough to be different? Probably not. Probably want to go different somewhere in one other spot or two. Don't really love the run backs with Luka, except for I think Vooch is worth a shot, but I would probably just look to get somebody a little bit different. There's a lot of guys who are popular tonight there's guys who you can pivot to are similar price. Like you have a popular-ish Smith on FanDuel, but you could play Sexton for $400 cheaper. Not Sexton, excuse me. You could play Garland for $400 cheaper. Would I say the RotoQL projections give you an edge? Carmen, I would. I think for tournaments, they're definitely where I would lean. I play tournaments, and that's what I would definitely lean for sure. Anyway, somehow in the middle of all this, I just got an inheritance notice, which I have no idea what that's about someone in my family passing away, which I'm sure I would have known about, but I think that it's an old, maybe a scam or something. It kind of threw me off there for a minute. Number 2, Pelican after Zion. Actually, on FanDuel, Zion's my number 1. On DraftKings, Ingram is my number 1. I like the price. I think Ingram at 6,800 is really easy, and I really like him quite a bit. Position flexibility, again. Lots of good guards in the slate. Want to play heavy on the forwards. We're going to jump back to a little bit of BetQL information. I just wanted to reiterate that with that Pelicans game, if I just saw C.J. McCollum, even if Dame was playing, he would be in play tonight. I just want to make that clear. So it's not like, but with everybody on him, I see the reasons for pivoting, and there are guys you can pivot to. One weird one would be like Oladipo, who some people will play on FanDuel and no one's going to play on DraftKings. But like Oladipo was an 8K guy. What if he's just needed his break and he's back to himself now? Like, I mean, that's a possibility. Some other guys we didn't really talk about much before we get into some other betting stuff. Hernan Gomez, I think, is a really... I don't like how much of him I have, but I really do like him in all the projections that I'm looking at for the most part. And I'm going to just confirm that with RotoQL because I looked earlier in the day and he was projecting well, but I haven't checked lately. And I have a feeling that they might actually have him a little bit low. No, they have him pretty high. I just really like him. I know he's going to be popular, but I think he's a really strong play. Obviously, one of my more popular along with Carmelo. There's a lot of chalky guys that I'm playing, but I'm also playing a lot of Ingram. I'm playing a lot of Luka. I don't think it's going to be different enough. I'm trying to get more Bradley Beal. That's a huge differentiator today. Why is Bradley Beal unowned on this slate? Tell me that. That's where I'm looking. So those are some big ones for me. Tell me who you like. Tell me what you think. In the meantime, we're going to talk a little bit about that Pelicans game just from a betting perspective. Obviously, I can't give the information away or call it up on my screen here because it would be giving away too much. And honestly, people pay good money for this for a good reason. And all I can say is that with that much money, as I mentioned it earlier, if you didn't hear me then, the public and sharp bettors are on the over. 97% of the money wagered has gone on the over. That is insane. It does make the game just seem even better for DFS purposes, which is obviously not what we want because we know there's chalk there. What we don't have is chalk on the Pelican side as much as you might think. So maybe that's you play a Holiday here and there, you play a Alonzo, you play obviously Zion and Ingram, maybe even throw favors into a lineup or two just to get exposure to that total, especially when everybody's telling you it's going to go over. And then from a betting perspective, while I would stay away, look, if that many people are on it, I would worry about it just because the pace might be a little bit different with Dame out. But again, the Pelicans are going to play fast, so I think at home I don't see the Portland slowing down. They'll slow down, but I don't think it's going to be too crazy much. I'm staying away from it, but I certainly understand that it's an important thing to relay, and it's a great thing for you guys to know. One thing I'd like to mention also is that BetQL just launched their XFL product today. I haven't been involved enough in the XFL. I'm going to get into it at some point, I'm sure. But I just haven't had the time lately, and I need to spend more time on it. But everybody tells me it's a blast from a DFS perspective, from a betting perspective. Like it's everything you get from BetQL. It would include public betting lines. It would include line movement data, live odds, written content for everything. Everything is free for week 3, so I would suggest you guys check that out right away. The XFL obviously is a lot of fun when we don't have football. We all like a little football in our lives, so please go check that out for free. You can check that out at BetQL. Also, want to mention the BetQL app on your phone is use it. Like I mentioned the RotoQL app all the time. I just don't mention the BetQL app enough. So I wanted to remind you guys about that. I'm going back to the chat and just to see what's caught up a little bit. I'm glad a few of you have come in and said what's up because we were waiting on you. Actually, you guys were here. I just didn't realize you were here. Let's see. Portland already said that. We're going to talk. Let's see. I answered yes, RotoQL does give you an edge. Who's my number 2 Pelican? I answered that one. Brown versus Tatum on DK. I am leaning more Tatum on DK and more Brown on FanDuel. I know it's shockier, but sort of where I'm going. I like both. You can play both together. It's fine. Jokic still on FD over Whiteside. I think he's an interesting pivot. I think he's a really interesting pivot that no one's talking about. Eric, how are you drunk? I know it's Friday, but come on, man. I'm envious of you. I wish I could get drunk. Right now I'm drunk on cough medicine. That's what I've got going for me. Sabonis or Zion on FanDuel? That is an awesome question. I think the answer ownership factored in is Sabonis, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I had a bunch of both of them together. But I think Zion they're both great plays. You could get 100 from them. Play them on FanDuel together. There's a lot of good at power forward options, but that's possibly my favorite combo outside of I do love the Nas Reed speculation. Anyway, thanks for the question, Joe. That was a good question. Guys, we're going to be getting out of here in like 5 minutes, so make sure to get as many questions as you can in before we do. I also want to talk about a few other things. Again, the apps and taking advantage of this free information will prove to you why you will want to sign up. So I'm not even saying you have to sign up right now, but certainly download the free apps for both BetQL and RotoQL. Certainly signing up does make sense, but you're getting the free game information every day. You get it from me on here. We're also, we don't talk about just DFS like some of you guys insist that we would like sometimes, but that is obviously like where a lot of that focus is. And one of the interesting ways you can factor that in is like what I was mentioning about that Pelicans total and all the betting lines going that way. It just makes that game even more of a DFS goldmine maybe than we even are thinking. I'm not so sure on my own personal speculation that maybe Whiteside slows the game down a tiny bit, but I just want to mention that when all the sharp money is going that way, it reminds you. All right, I'm going to take a quick look back in chat, see if we've got anything else. And again, we'll have it fixed next time, so I won't have to go back and forth so much. So my number my number 2 Pelican on FD is Ball or Ingram. I don't like Ingram as much on FanDuel because of the other small forwards who I do like. I would say Ball is a good play on FanDuel, but I think there's just different ways that I'm going than the Pels, than too many Pels on that site. I just think that I'm more on the Pels on DraftKings personally, just because of the way the lineup construction is. Joe is asking me if I can see his question up from earlier up in chat. I will take a quick look. It's easier if you just rewrote it, Joe. No, I'm just kidding. Sexton or Garland with Luka, Beal, and Drummond. I think Drummond's risky, but I like the upside. I do think that I prefer Garland given price and all things considered, but I like Sexton a ton, so I would be lying if I said I didn't like either. I would try and get combinations of both if you're playing multiple lines, which is what I'm doing. Any notable changes in ownership? Not yet, but I'm guessing that there will be. There's still information to be had. There's still things to be out there. There might be a starting lineup change that will really dictate. So I'm sort of in a holding pattern right now as far as DFS goes. But in the meantime, I did mention the sports bet that I like of the night. I won't give you what we have at BetQL over here, but I really like the Lakers to absolutely wallop the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. And I don't feel that way about modern NBA games very often. I'm staying away from it for the most part in DFS, little bits here and there, but mostly just avoiding it. I think the Lakers absolutely smashed tonight. You can see we've got just a little bit of our information, but we don't have the advanced stuff in here and what we've got. Driving is hard to type. Sorry, man. Okay, I don't want you to type at all, but I do appreciate it. I was just sort of messing with you. Glad you guys came in, tuned in. Glad we got some of it out there. We want to make this show better. We're going to do better. Obviously, we've got a million technical ways we're going to get better, but usually I'll be better than I am in this decrepit version of myself while I'm really sick. But this is a great NBA slate. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter. Make sure to check out BetQL, RotoQL. BetQL is literally all I look at for sports betting. It's a one-stop shop for me. And then RotoQL is, I think, the best tournament. It's hard to say this. There's a lot of good ones out there. The projection system, I think, gives you an edge in tournaments. I'll just put it that way. I really, really can say that comfortably. Anyway, guys, really appreciate you tuning in. I'll leave this on just for a couple minutes, but just to answer some questions, but mostly I'm just going to be wrapping things up. I'm still got my lines to get to, but I'm going to try and see if I can sneak a quick half-hour nap in before I have to go do my the rest of my lineups, because honestly, it's a little under the weather, and I've got to take an overnight flight tonight, so not feeling my absolute best. But go ahead and get any last QQs, any thoughts in, anything about the NBA, anything about the XFL. XFL, by the way, check out the XFL, free info. I bet you if you use BetQL, there's no promotion running like this, but I just want to see, come back to me, use all the info they give you, and tell me that you lost. If that happens, let's talk about why you lost, and maybe we'll come on air and do it with you sometime or something. Because I really think there's some valuable information to be had. With the kind of effort these people put in, you're going to get the best information, and you're getting it for free. So check it out and see if you want to be a part of BetQL. JT, really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate that, especially feeling the way I do right now. Any positive? Hey, look, you know what? I'm open to every bit of negative, and people say criticism really helps them. Well, at the moment, positivity is really helping me. So I appreciate it. I'm just not feeling my best right now. You guys, I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you watching the YouTube videos. Follow me at BobbyFi. Follow the RotoQL app on Twitter. Follow BetQL app on Twitter. Really appreciate all you guys and all the kind words. And again, we'll be back for you every day during the week. I am going to be gone this weekend. We're going to maybe have to take one day off next week because of this wedding that I'm at, which is on a Monday. And come on. But I'm down in Orlando, so hit me up and say what's up. Give me some thoughts on places to go in Orlando. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you as always. We are out of here, and we'll see you at the top of the leaderboards.